Podtacular, the unofficial Halo Universe podcast, presents episode 900, Past, Present, and Future. Record live on November 13th, 2025. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Podtacular, the unofficial Halo Universe podcast. I am your host, Dust Storm, for this evening, and I am joined by a wide panel. What are you doing, Austin?
I'm playing Halo 3. Do the intro.
he's messing up my legendary progress of Halo 3, and I'm kind of peeved about it.
Okay.
That's supposed to be my thing during the show.
Gotcha. So we're doing a special episode since this is our 900th numbered episode for Podtacular. We've definitely done more than 900, but this is actually episode 900. And we're celebrating 220 years of Podtacular.
200 years of Podtacular.
200.
That's impressive.
There isn't that much gray in my beard yet.
Mine is 250 years old.
Bro invented podcasting.
It made it 200 years look young.
I'm impressed.
I know, right?
I remember 200 years
so
ago when I started this podcast.
Back in my day.
I
Anyway,
used to be a podcaster like you until I took an arrow to the knee.
Oh, God.
wrong franchise. Wrong franchise. I have the awesome pleasure of having the founder of Podtacular on this episode. Once again, welcome back, foomojive, to the microphone.
What up, what up?
What up? It is a pleasure to have you. It was a pleasure to actually see you in Seattle for the Halo World Championships. So that was a fun time.
Awesome, man.
Thank you for
We'll dig
taking a
into that.
second to talk to me. We're going to have that short conversation that we had going up on our channel soon.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It was great.
Sounds great.
Following right in line, we have GLewis, which I don't remember when the last time you're actually on a Podtacular episode. Probably in the early 2010s,
Yeah, maybe.
if I had to take a guess.
And hello.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
We also have Lancelot. And it's been a while since we've heard from him, I think, in the Podtacular sphere of things. But welcome back to the microphone.
Thank you. Nice to see everybody after such a long time, and there's some new faces in the crowd too.
Yeah. And then we have some other special guests, and we'll explain a little bit more why they're on here. We have Austin from JumperScape, Connor from JumperScape, and Shane also from JumperScape Media
Pleasure being
on the
here.
podcast.
What's
Thanks
up,
for
Jumper
having us.
family?
Hello. Thank you for having us.
Great to
Of
be
course.
here, as always.
Thank you for being here. It has been quite a couple of months since our last episode that we did. We've had a couple of interviews, and then we started getting prepared for Worlds, and I found myself without a job for a month, so I decided, hey, I'm going to busy myself and do some preparations for Halo Worlds. So if you happen to be in Seattle, you may have seen quite a bit of Podtacular stuff over there as far as a 20-year anniversary coin that we put together. We also came up with this Keep on Fragging Trucks, although this is technically a Warthog sticker for those looking at the video show. So this is finally coming to fruition after 20 years. The catchphrase that started it all finally became
There's a nostalgia blast. I haven't heard that catchphrase in forever.
He was very proud of it. He posted the sticker product production as it went along at least once a week.
Do we know who started
something
it?
like that.
Was somebody that would post that?
You want to
right?
share the story, Fumo, since this is technically your story?
Yeah, sure. So like we were ending, I don't know, it was somebody knows like what episode it is, but it was somewhere around like the 5th or 10th episode or something like that.
It was either 5 or 6, I think.
Okay. And we were just wrapping up the episode and just kind of saying goodbye, and we were kind of thinking of things to say, and one of us said, between me and Spellcheck, and one of us said, keep on fragging. The other one says, keep on, or the other way around. One said, keep on trucking. The other said, keep on fragging. And then I said, keep on fragging trucks. And that's when it all turned into that. We said it like every time after that.
Yep. The catchphrase that has never gone away.
It's a good catchphrase. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I like the sticker design. It's pretty cool.
Thanks. That is courtesy of Mr. Aaron Fung, who has done a lot of the community coin designs over the past Halo Infinite competitive series of events. So a lot of the Halo collector coins and some of the other coins from some of the other communities. So he did ours, he did Halo collectors, he did Women of Halo, and a few other ones that were at Worlds this year. And he's already in full swing for making new designs for coins for Halo Fest.
He also designed the Halo community calendar for this year. So he was doing all that at the same time, and he's designing the next one. So dude is kind of an overpowered artist. So please commission him.
Yep. Well, he might not have time to be commissioned right now with how much stuff we're throwing at him.
Please
right
attempt
now.
to commission him. He'd rather say no than say nothing to anyone.
That's true. That's true. There's a lot of artists out there that are worthy of that time and effort. But yeah, we had some new swag this year. I don't have my coin on me to show off on the stream, but it's been all over social media. We also had a little activation thanks to Austin and JumperScape. We had our Podtacular spotlight. We did some. I think the most popular thing was the Halo hot takes, which was
Oh,
so
absolutely.
much fun.
Also, I still question what you said that day.
Yeah, I know. Everyone often does when I bring it up. I get it. It's okay. You don't have to understand.
I'm going to choose not to. It's going to be easier for myself.
Yeah. And I think for most everyone here, everyone kind of knows HCS and Halo World Championship. It's been kind of tailored as the Halo convention for the year. That's how 343's really built it up over the past 4 years for the Halo Infinite series of competitive events. And taking this to Halo Fest, I think they're looking to at least focus on the community aspect of that. There's still going to be competitive stuff. Invitational is coming, but Halo Fest is coming in 2026. I think all of JumperScape's going to be there. I'm going to be there. I don't know, Fumo, if you can afford another trip out there. But we might
We'll see.
try
Who
to
knows?
do a
We would love to
V2
see
of-
you, buddy.
I might try
You
round
see,
2 of
no
getting
problem.
Podtacular people out there. It'd be 21 years, so as far as Podtacular is concerned, it would be of drinking age at that point. So the drunken
we'll have to-
podcast of Podtacular now comes out next year at Halo Fest.
How has that not happened yet?
5 drink minimum before starting the show.
You're giving us ideas. Write that down. Write that down. Write that down.
Right. Yeah.
So,
So I want to kind of go around and talk about the history of Podtacular. So for those that are on the stream and those that are listening to this or watching this, the title of this is Past, Present, and Future. We're talking about the past history of Podtacular, where we've come over the past 20 years as a podcast, where we are today, what has been happening kind of in the last 4 or 5 years around the Halo Infinite timeframe, and where the podcast is going to be going from there. So I think everyone that has listened to this podcast or regularly listens to this podcast probably knows some origins of the podcast, because I think every 3 years or so I talk about how Podtacular started. But Fumo, since you are the founder of the show, would you mind giving a little bit of background of how you even decided to start Podtacular and the story around that?
Sure thing. Yeah. So at the time, I had this is ages ago. So there were no smartphones, and I had an iPod at the time, a little like thumb drive size one, and I used that for podcasts, and that was that was fairly newish at the time. Podcasts have been around probably about a year or so, maybe a little more, but there were about 10,000 podcasts at the time, and I'd listened to several that I really liked, and it was a really cool way to kind of break out of the whole kind of media empire approach to like the only things that you can listen to are on the radio and the TV, right? And on cable. So anyway, I'd listened to a bunch of podcasts on that, and I just really liked them, and I figured like I'm an engineer anyway. I could probably put one of these together, and it'd be kind of fun. It'd be just kind of a hobby project. And I didn't expect to have more than a few listeners at most. And I was just trying to think of what to make one about. And at the time, I was playing a whole lot of Halo 2, and so was everybody who was playing any kind of multiplayer video games at the time was all in Halo 2, which was cool. And I really enjoyed the team-based aspect. Really, still really do. When either when it's a team going in from the start or when it's matchmaking, like when it really comes together and the whole team is just communicating and working well together, it's just magical. And I mean, I feel the same way about like pretty much anything in life. Like just teamwork is just something that always gets me excited. So so I wanted to see if I could kind of gather and share some tips for that for Halo in particular. And I looked around at the time. There wasn't a whole lot of other Halo podcasts going on. I figured there was an opportunity for it, so I just kind of put together a script and just read some stuff myself, and a loose script, and just put together a bunch of tips. And from there, it actually got a little bit of traction to my surprise, and looked for co-hosts and went on. And to my total shock, it absolutely blew up, and it got into at one point like the top 25 podcasts on iTunes. And all of this was like a major surprise because I didn't expect to have more than a few listeners. So, but yeah, it went on from there, to not get ahead of myself.
Yeah. Well, and you had Spellcheck come on as a co-host on your second episode. You had Major Nelson on episode 8, who just had started their own podcast earlier in the year. I think they were still within their first year of doing the Major Nelson Radio.
Mm-hmm.
So you had that kind of just stardom pop right up in there. And of course, doing the podcast probably on the most popular video game at the time probably warranted some attention. I feel like.
Yeah, I suppose so. But I certainly did not expect how it ended up. But yeah, it gelled really well with Spellcheck, and we really I thought put together kind of a good system pretty quickly of like, okay, well, I don't want to just like drone on about tips for the entire episode. How can we switch it up a bit? How can we make things a little more interesting? And we figured out like a system over time of how to turn it into like different segments, and especially like getting listeners involved in the show. Like people would send in, people just email in like various stuff and like we would read like almost all of it, or sometimes like literally every single thing everyone sent in. And that's what was fun, because you like never knew what to expect. You could like get some kind of like crazy diatribe from someone on there, and we just read it all. We just like, who cares? Let's just read it.
Yeah.
So it was really cool to like get everybody involved, I thought. And like from there, I think the whole community aspect of it, like outside of the podcast, really had its own life and took off from there.
Yeah. And you all ended up getting into a rhythm of different episodes, topics that you kind of rotated through. I think there was a time there where you were doing 3 episodes a week based on that rotation of topics. I think it was like the Podtacular update, which was kind of like official Halo news, and then there was the customs and call-ins, and then Tales from the Foxhole. So out of that recurring list of topics as during your tenure, what was the most fun piece of that to produce, or at least to put together during your tenure?
Oh, damn, that's funny. I haven't heard those names in forever, man. But wow. But yeah, as far as like the 3 shows a week, that's when we started to like, we were just starting to kind of get into our groove and like different types of segments. And then we were like, if we could just record all of these at once, then we could kind of split them out during the week, and we could have smaller like bite-sized shows. And then those bite-sized shows started growing until they were an hour plus each.
Yeah.
And people were like, look, I love your podcast, but
way
I
too much.
cannot physically listen to this much audio in a week. It's just not possible, man. I have to sleep, I have to eat. So
Yeah.
so we eventually cut it back, and that's one of those ideas that seemed like a good idea at the time. But like it helped us to kind of evolve and get into what worked well, I thought. But to answer your question about the probably my favorite segment, it's got to be like Tales from the Foxhole, because there was just all kinds of bizarre, crazy stuff people would send in, and it was just fun to just like read it all. And it's kind of like a improv night that you go somewhere, or
Yeah.
just like an open mic night for that matter. It could be like anything, and we just read it and just see what happens. And so you just never quite know what to expect, and that part I really liked.
Yeah.
I still remember the first time you guys read one of my stories back when I was just a listener. It was, I don't know, I guess being that young, a little bit surreal hearing somebody reading my story out on a platform with that many other people listening to it. It's just a great like viewer engagement thing as well. Especially because I remember you guys getting caught up once in a while because of some of the weird stuff, because I never played Halo on a console ever. I was playing custom edition with a lot of mods. And so I tripped people up a few times where they were wondering what is going on here.
What is he talking about? I don't think this is in the game.
I remember, I forget who the guy's name. It was a guest host, I think, who was working as a mod at Bungie or something. It was like, wait a second, there's no map called Huge Ass. What is this guy talking about?
Wait a
Which
minute.
is now huge grass in MCC. So they
Because
made
we're
it
cowards.
they made it safe. Yeah. Well, I mean
Yeah.
brand stuff. Yeah.
Disappointing. No fun allowed.
Yeah, Mike, I remember we would record the entire day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
You guys are wild. Let me
It
just
was a
mention
ton of
that.
work.
That's
It was-
insane
It
to
was
me.
the whole day.
Yeah. So G, you're next up on the totem pole, because I think you were definitely ahead of me as far as involvement. I started listening a year in or so. I've told the story a few times, but I downloaded, I think it was 55 episodes at the time. Our family took a vacation to South Africa to do a safari, and I listened to all 55 episodes
Holy
that
moly.
were out at the time, and then came back. And I didn't have Halo at the time. I was exposed to it through a friend in high school who had a console, or I guess junior high. So whenever we would do sleepovers, we would play Halo up to like 1, 2 in the morning, and then go to sleep. So I knew of Halo, but that was kind of my first foray in actually being involved with it. And I didn't actually own my first copy of Halo until 2005. So, but yeah, G, I think you were kind of next in the totem pole of co-host. And while you were co-host under my tenure after I took over, you were definitely involved with the Podtacular community. So how did you hear about Podtacular, and what was the thing that pulled you into hopping in and getting involved? And
Well, I was a young kid. I was literally like 13 years old, but it was the Major Nelson. That's the first one that I listened to. And then I went back and listened to all of them through the blog spot. And then
Blogspot, wow. The OG
Hell yeah, Blogspot.
Podtacular site.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
OG,
And then
wow.
I think from like the next probably 20 to 50 episodes, I tried to have a submission every episode. I think a lot of people did, honestly. I think everybody.
Listeners like that are super appreciated, so you're cool.
Yeah, that's how it got started. Yeah, and then eventually we all met up and played online.
Yeah, and you were pretty active in the forums. You were definitely, I think, in the top 10 posters on the legacy forums. We don't have them anymore. I do have an archive of them somewhere, so those posts still exist in the database file that I have on my computer if I ever
Yeah.
decide to do anything with them. But yeah, between like you and PK and Chevelle and Chucky,
Crunk.
yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
shout out
there's a bunch
to
of names, yeah.
shout out to some of the other Podtacular staffers that weren't ever officially co-hosts, but Chucky J from the community management side of things, Captain Crunk from the web hosting side of things, Style Pex was a co-host for a few episodes and focused more on the Podtacular clan side of things, which I want to touch on here in a little bit because I feel like that's a pretty important part of Podtacular's history. Am I missing anyone as far as like staff wise from your
Well,
era,
Joe,
Fumo?
JVB,
JVB as a co-host, yeah, he was co-host number two, coming in sometime in the 50s and 60s episodes.
Well, Crunk
That
also
was,
ran the call-in, if I remember correctly, right?
Who did?
Was that Crunk that ran the? There was like a
Yeah.
voicemail that people could call in with stuff.
Yes.
Yep. 206-888 Halo.
Oh man, don't know the number also. Yeah, and Crunk actually ran the website as well, and just once we switched over off of Blogspot, he ran the forums and
Yep.
handled all that. It was a lot of work.
And then Painkiller did Podtacular Radio. He had a few episodes of that. And who did the comic?
Oh,
Quality
man.
Beverage.
Quality
Writers?
Beverage. That's it.
Yeah.
Quality
You guys have a
Beverage.
comic?
Oh, we had every
Damn, I
bro.
haven't heard that name in a long time, too.
There was a comic. Yeah,
What was
like
the comic about?
The co-host.
it was about the co-host. Yeah.
It was a bunch of random drama. It was very badly drawn, and it was kind of funny.
Sweet, love it.
Unfortunately, I think the first 4 strips are lost to the internet. Like I don't, unless someone that has Quality Beverage's contact info or knows if he still has the originals. Like I've scoured as much as I could, and I think I only have from like comic strip 5 to 50, whatever it ended up being.
Is Quality and KBC the same? I can't remember.
Don't think so. No, KBC was a different person.
Okay, all right. I thought for some reason Quality changed his gamer tag to KBC at some point.
I think he changed it to something.
Well, he took the quality out of his name at some point.
Oh, it might just be Beverage, yeah.
Because I still thought to KBC.
That could be right. But yeah, I will send it to you, Austin. If I
Please, because I
Fine.
love seeing all this random history.
I will find the folder. Oh, I just found the Bungee Hump Day Challenge video. I have a hard drive specifically for Podtacular stuff on my computer.
That's awesome.
It's literally a hard drive only for Podtacular stuff because there's just that much stuff.
Good.
Goes way back.
Yeah. And then Lancelot, you are the next person in from the Podtacular side to make your entrance into the Podtacular community. And as you mentioned, you're more focused on PC, so you actually had a separate show that we ran for a little while called Around the Ring, which mixed in with the mainline podcast for a little bit as we were kind of in this weird transition phase between Bungie handing off Halo over to 343. So we were kind of pulling at straws of like, okay, what can we kind of do in the meantime to look at some other content? So I guess 2 questions for your side of things. What got you attracted to the Podtacular community involved, and then what gave you the idea to do the Around the Ring side of the podcast stuff?
Well, I guess what got me involved was the community itself, and that largely goes to Fumo and all the other staffers that made the show and the community around it a very inviting place. I mean, it was cool that, especially that's why I mentioned the Tales from the Foxhole thing, like being able to actually get on the show in that way with your written silly stories and stuff was very engaging. The community was pretty chill, and I had a lot of fun with Halo Custom Edition. There's just so much more variety of content because, and especially at this, even nowadays, getting mods in console games is a relative rarity, but there was just a massive diversity of other content that people were making on the PC side that was just so much more fun. And I just thought it would be cool to talk about that stuff and share a different side of the community. And actually hosting the show was kind of fun. So we got to explore a lot of different stuff. Remember some of the episodes we would go through some of the crazy different maps, because some of them, like we mentioned that one huge ass, were just a big gigantic open space with a lot of crazy vehicles. Some of them were very technical and convoluted.
Well, and to your point, we hadn't really ever touched on the PC side of things because Halo's been primarily console focused at that point. So that was the first foray I think that Podtacular really took into the PC side of things. I don't know if foomojive, if you all had any of the PC stuff coming during the podcast when you guys were hosting it. I think you probably did a little bit more when you were still around when Lancelot came on, but it was definitely more console focused, I think, during Fumo, your time in the podcast scene.
Yeah, I did not have. I mean, I didn't even have a Xbox 360 for a while. I just had the original Xbox for quite
Until
some
the
time.
community just gifted it to you.
Yeah, we gave you one.
Yeah, I was absolutely floored by that. That was pretty amazing. But yeah, if memory serves, and it's been a long time, but if memory serves, Lancelot, that you were always kind of talking about Halo PC and like some of the cool stuff that people have built. For instance, like a longsword as like a flyable ship, and various other things. If I'm remembering this right.
Oh yeah, and that's what sometimes tripped people up when I was sharing the stories was so that again on that one map that I mentioned earlier, there was a flyable longsword. You could hop in a Pelican and had like working guns and could carry basically your entire team in the back. And then there was some stuff where it got silly, like, hey, do you want a tank that can go the speed of a ghost under boost as a normal operating thing? Cool. Just a lot of creativity in the map layouts and all kinds of crazy custom vehicles. Like some people made playable versions of already in-universe games or added in their own custom stuff. I remember somebody, I think it was, I don't know if you guys remember the movie The Island, but somebody made basically a version in the Halo custom edition game of the flying motorcycle from that movie. And it had guns on it, so you could fly around the map on this basically flying motorcycle and shoot people from the air. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, that is one of the things I really loved about the PC gaming space in general was how you got the base game. It can be a lot of fun, but people are then able to, and it was actively encouraged by a lot of the game studios at the time where they'd even release their official tools for people to go out and do this. Take their stuff, go wild, try different things out. And Halo Custom Edition took off in that space in a big way. Because there was always somebody trying out something new with like, oh, we're going to tweak the map layout slightly. Here's some other stuff you can mix in. And especially back in the early days, the modding tools were quite difficult to use. Some games were better about it than others. Halo in particular was a bit awkward to work with. So it was kind of impressive in that front as well, that people were actually able to figure out how to get all this going.
Yeah. Well, at least Gearbox had the forethought to have that whole custom edition tool set out there for people to use. So that was actually really handy on the PC side of things. And it was kind of a hidden gem for a while. There was definitely a hardcore group of Halo CE modders, thanks to halomods.org. Shout out to them. They've been around longer than Podtacular technically has.
Oh yeah, and I think they're still up. I think they're actually still hosting all their content.
Yeah, they are. You can get new Halo 2 Vista stuff. I don't know how much they're doing. I haven't been over there since kind of the Steam Workshop has really taken over for MCC, but I know they still have stuff that gets posted there for original CE and Halo 2 Vista modding for PC.
Yeah, I haven't looked at that scene in quite a while. I never had any consoles. They just never really appealed to me as a thing to own. So for me, I was happy with Custom Edition. Some other games came along eventually, but I still had a good time with it while it lasted. But eventually it tailed off, as all games eventually do. And it was quite a while before any other ones eventually made it over to have proper Windows ports.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's MCC is basically where things picked up, and now the PC modding is a core experience within the Halo community. So it finally came around.
Yeah, it's good that people get to see all that stuff.
So I'm looking through my archive here on my hard drive, and you had 19 episodes, including an inauguration episode of Around the Ring. with 5 of them being Halo CE mod custom edition mod showcase, a lot of Left 4 Dead, Team Fortress 2, Alien Swarm, StarCraft 2, Steam Fest. Oh, and the DRM debate.
Yep, and that's one of the big things that all kind of put me off the console platform, just how kind of awful and locked down it was. And well, I don't want to say was, still is.
Yeah. And there's a couple other things that we did production wise. G, do you remember Gamer One?
Bro, we tried so many different.
The 2 episodes of those that you tried. That was a attempt, I think, of a competitive side of the podcast. We had Pod Radio. There were 9 episodes of that. Strictly Confidential was Brent Gamer's thing. There were 6 episodes of that. I think that was kind of a. I don't remember what the whole idea of that series was.
I remember, was it Nobody had the PCP podcast, which was the Podtacular community
podcast. Yeah. Yeah. I don't have
So,
any of those, but
That's how I mean, there were thousands of people trying to join our clans. This isn't a joke. Like we had to weed people out just because you can only have 100 people in a clan. So we had like A through Z, and we couldn't fit everybody in them because there were just so many people trying to join.
weren't there? I think at one point there were 6 Podtacular clans, if I remember right. There was there's like top tier.
Oh yeah, we had All Stars, Pros,
and then the 4 below that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And your All Stars were the ones that would go and do the actual clan battles with some of the other ones, like Pretoria Guard and 7th Column, and a lot of those old communities that I think a lot of them are gone, but there's still a few that are around.
Yeah. The pros would, I don't want to get too much, but the pros would basically, they would have their own battles that would decide who would be in All Stars. And then there were the people below that were trying to get into pro. So we had our own like competitive scene.
And I remember from you said on the podcast that there was a minimum rank requirement of 15 in order to even be considered to join a clan because you were getting so many people interested in joining.
Oh, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But really we tried to, like, as soon as that part started to really thrive, that aspect of the whole Podtacular thing, we really wanted to like make it as inviting as possible and just get as many allow people to just really find their tribe, you know, of other people that wanted to play Halo the way they play Halo. Because like it's not just I want to play Halo with other people, because like that's hard to, you might end up like if you're not a competitive person and you end up in a competitive group, then that's not your jam. So there's a lot of different ways to play Halo, as we found out. And we started to like actually kind of get down a whole system for where everyone would like fit in best. And but really we were trying to just be as inviting as possible and to just say, hey, anyone that wants to join, like come on in, you know, we'll introduce you to people, we'll get you into groups, it'll be just a good time. So I was really proud of that, because I know a lot of people like forge really good like lifelong relationships out of those out of that community.
Yeah. So I want to open the floor up to the JumperScape folks to ask any questions that you may have about Podtacular's history, since we've got a pretty wide spread. I think I'm definitely can cover the more recent Podtacular stuff, and Fumo going back to the OG days of Podtacular. So anything between you, Shane, Connor, and Austin that you have any kind of burning questions, or I wonder how Podtacular did this so some 10, 15 years ago?
Before I kick things off, inevitably, you do understand how dangerous this is to do, right? Because I ask a lot of questions. I always have questions.
Well, I'm going to limit this to 10 minutes for the time being.
Okay, then I can make this brief. I've only got maybe 3 that are really pressing.
We can have other episodes, and we will, as we reveal the future plans for Podtacular, where we can dive more into things.
Sounds good. So first question that I have, I asked you this at HCS, Foo, or should I call you Jive?
Fumo.
When
Just don't call me Mo.
so here's the thing, right? When I invited you to chat, there was one question that I had for you. You couldn't answer it, so I'm hoping by opening this up to the floor, I could get an answer for this. Was in the very early episodes when you're talking about Halo 2 having a hacker problem, your proposed solution, which was genius, might I add, was to, when we find the hackers, spam their inboxes with voice messages of you just screaming into the mic. Now, I want to know if this got results.
Super successful campaign right there. They all, like, as soon as they heard that, they all said, "What am I doing with my life? I need to turn myself around." Cleaned up, went back to school, got a job, got married, settled down. It's nothing but success. Worked out really well.
It was such a wild thing for me to listen to, because I was sitting there, I was like, oh my gosh, this is a solution that is potentially, according to you, it actually was working, because apparently it was just people were genuinely deleting accounts. So like they were just tired of getting spammed, I guess. I just kind of found that rather entertaining. So you were saving Halo 2 one ban at a time. But a follow-up on that, a real one, was very quickly, like episode 2 or 3, suddenly out of nowhere, you go from having basically just like the intro, your voice, outro, to intro, your voice, sound effects, transitions, all these things out of nowhere. So I'm kind of out here wondering like what the system was like. Did you have a soundboard like this, or was this all in post? Like who was putting that all together?
Oh, good question. So at the time, I was just kind of learning this stuff randomly, and I was somewhere both before, during, and after the first episode. Well, I guess not during. I was really looking for some kind of theme music that I could use, and likewise for some like fairly minimal sound effects, I thought. Later on, it got like actually to more where we had like actually commercial breaks, and we faded in music for that and faded out. We also had like our whole "there's only one thing left to say," and we always had some kind of like outtakes at the end. But likewise, I put that together from a combination of quotes. There was, at the time, there was an archive on halo.bungie.org of a whole bunch of just audio clips of various things, some of which are part of Halo games, and some of which are just kind of various community things. And I put together kind of a mishmash of things from between that and a song I found just browsing the web around all over the place.
Newgrounds.
For that.
Shout out to Newgrounds.
Is that where it was?
Yep, it came from
the song was
Newgrounds.
from?
Yeah.
Because man, forever I was trying to find the artist who made that song, because I thought that song was fantastic. That variation on I think it was a variation on the Halo theme. And I was trying to find that artist to be like, look, I'm using this for the show. Hopefully that's all right. And let me know if you're not into it, and I'll just find something else. But never got back to me, so I just kept using it.
That's super fun. That's so much fun. Okay, I've got one more, and then I'll see if my companions here have any. But this one's going out to even the one that we haven't heard from yet, Mr. Dust. All of you have a perspective on what Podtacular is, especially given that you are all representing various eras. So if possible, in order from like the first to the last, I think genuinely I would be fascinated to know if you can summarize in like 1 or 2 sentences what Podtacular represents. I would love to hear that.
The Halo community.
There's got to be more depth than that, right? Like, it's not just that.
No, I mean it was literally
that is a sentence.
We had
you asked for 2 sentences and he got 3 words. That's very good efficiency.
Don't get much more efficient.
So is that agreed upon then across all of the hosts? Like it's simply put, the community.
Yeah, but I want to hear what you're continuing to say on that, Greg.
I'm gonna say we had everybody, like artists, pro players, people that just wanted to have fun, people that wanted to be on the show, people that wanted to do comics, like we said. It was just, there wasn't really like, we didn't like hone in on one aspect. It was just everybody from the community. I don't know. It's just, we all centered around this one place. I guess it was like, it was our Reddit before Reddit was a thing. It was where we all, everything was on podtacular.com. You know, I just remember we would spend all day on it. We would talk about every topic you could think of around Halo.
No, that's actually a very, very good point. Podtacular and other communities that existed at the time were real communities in a way that I don't really see existing on the modern net. Like the old net that I grew up on, all of us grew up on, communities like Podtacular just don't exist anymore. And one of the big things is that that place existed. We're here, you know, for Halo, chat about other stuff, but it's a place just for all of us to come together and hang out. That was a real community that doesn't exist in the same way as something like Reddit or Facebook or whatever. That's all there just for the purpose of making money. And why those places are kind of terrible. Podtacular was there as a space for everybody to come and hang out and chat, primarily about Halo. But because it was just there for the community, that's what really made it so wonderful.
And I feel like Podtacular came in an era where it was still fostered by people going to specific websites and engaging in those specific communities, because you didn't have social media back then. Facebook didn't start until 2007. Twitter wasn't even a concept at that point either. So Podtacular started well before a lot of that social media stuff that we have nowadays. I mean, you had Tumblr, you had MySpace, so there were some of those like early 2000s era social media sites, but those were still not as fully utilized, kind of how social media is today. So you really had that focus of, once you found a place to get involved in and jump into, that was the place you went. And I feel like Podtacular was just in that Goldilocks time of the Halo franchise, when Halo was the name of the game when it came to anything video games. And I mean, Fumo, you said that you didn't think the podcast would pop off. The only other podcast that was going on at the time was, I think, Sonic 84, and it was just mostly like a Halo music type of podcast. Or there was a couple other things going on. Like you had Red versus Blue, you had This Spartan Life, which was kind of a podcast radio show type of thing, but it wasn't like a proper podcast. So I think you kind of filled a void, and podcasts were starting to become a big thing. So you just kind of hit that gold mine right then and there. And then throwing a forum on top of that, and throwing engagement with community submissions into the show, and actually having that mix of official news and community stuff, like you just hit all the right beats at the right time. And I'll echo G's sentiment. It's like the tagline for Podtacular is the unofficial Halo Universe podcast, because obviously the Halo franchise, owned by now Halo Studios, would be like the official owner of the Halo community, if you think about it from a organizational structure perspective. But Halo Universe encompasses everything. So the community at large, all the different facets of the community nowadays. Like if you look back at Fumo's time, it was mainly people hopping into custom lobbies. It was people competing at a professional level with MLG. You had people that were doing tournaments between different clans. So the pockets of communities were smaller, but they were a lot more intimate. And I feel like that's the foundation that Podtacular started with. And it's just kind of spread out to where, yeah, we care about official stuff and how it impacts the community, but it's always been about the community and for the community and by the community.
Definitely well said.
Wonderfully said.
I know that was a lot more than one sentence, but
I wasn't going to dog on you for it. I was considering it, but I figured I would let
Yes,
you
you
off.
were.
Disqualified.
For the one sentence, I think the tagline sums it up. The unofficial Halo Universe podcast, where the Halo Universe really is all encompassing of the community, because Halo wouldn't exist if the community wasn't there to support it.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And this was around that time where everybody was trying to find their niche or finding out that they could push beyond, because at least growing up through like 80s, 90s, what you had for media was what was on the radio, what was on TV. That was all kind of very top-down controlled for stuff. You had syndicated TV and stuff, but there wasn't really much in the way of community engagement or spaces for more niche subjects. And even some of the things like, what was it? Attack of the Show or some of these other gaming shows were still kind of, they were basically talk shows. It wasn't a whole ton of engagement there. But smaller stuff like Podtacular, where you can actually shout at people on the forum and get your stories read out on air. That is what really got a lot of people involved. It's what got me into it. And Fumo, you guys, to your credit, you figured out a structure for the community and keeping the show organized with the different segments and stuff that worked really well. And you got it going quite well early on.
Yeah. A lot of shifting around, a lot of trying different things, some of which didn't work and just kind of stuck around with what did. But I wanted to say one thing about something was mentioned earlier, and that's that there were plenty of podcasts still at the time, despite like my wife thinks like I'm one of the first podcasters like ever to exist, and I'm like no, it was quite, there were a lot of podcasts at the time.
You're probably one of the first gaming podcasts, though.
No, I listened to a gaming podcast. That's why I was considering that as a possibility.
Can we say you're the first Halo podcast
too? There was
we are not
too.
the first Halo podcast.
No.
Yeah.
We are not the first
There
Halo
was another
podcast.
one at the time, and
Sonic 84.
They were doing okay. They had a bit of, there was Drop Shock Radio was the one I was aware of. There was at least one. I think there might have been two actually, but only one that was like still updating regularly. But anyway, so in my situation at the time, you might have looked at it. You might have been like, well, there's already Halo podcasts out there. They're already catering to what audience they would have. So there's not really room, but I just listened to it and I kind of said, well, I could do a different take on this. And I think there's a possibility here. So it just goes to say, if you ever want to like try something, don't get discouraged by by others being out there and things already being like quote saturated, because it really seemed like that at the time. But wasn't the case.
Definitely a lot more saturated now, I'll tell you that much.
I know, but like I always looked at it anyway from the beginning. Like, hey, I don't really care how many people listen to this. Honestly, I'm just doing this for fun. This is sort of like a hobby project that I want to do the best I can to like deliver something that's interesting to people listening, and especially like once I got guests on and trying to make it more like a community endeavor. But still, like I was trying to like make it something that people would want to listen to, not just like talk for the purpose of me talking, So, so I feel like we really got that going.
Yeah. Connor, Shane, do either of you have any burning questions for?
Yeah,
the OGs?
I just
So Shane, you can
absolutely.
go first.
Yeah, more or less just kind of like comparing. Kind of want to just compare like what like the answer to my own question, like what you guys say. I guess just kind of how like moderately. I mean, we've been doing this for around 2 years ish at this point. So like I still feel like we're moderately new in the game. When do you guys think like, man, we're really when did you guys think like, man, we're really starting to like hit a stride, or like when was that one moment like, yeah, we're doing something really cool with this? Because I feel like I've had a lot of moments like that already. I don't know how early on and later on, I should say, like when you guys had that kind of feeling or thought process.
I guess that'd be more for you, Fumo, since you kind of laid the foundation work for.
Well, honestly, like I said, I didn't expect to have more than a few listeners. So when I had like 10 downloads of the podcast, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, that's kind of we did this, not at least I can speak for myself and from what Austin has said when we first started doing it. We're like, yeah, we'll do this for fun, and we were doing it over Audacity, like we'll record our audio over, and then just send it over to Austin. We're like, yeah, like we'll have a little bit of fun with it. Then it started to like get a little bit of traction. Our Discord started to grow a little bit. We started to interview like a lot of like really well-known content creators. And that's when I was like, that was for me at least. I can't speak for Austin or Connor, but when we first had like an interview with Installation 00 or Hidden Xperia, we're like, oh my god, like we can actually do something with this. I get not even like the funny thing is like the very first like big interview we had was with James Burns. If you're familiar with the voice actor from Frank Woods from Call of Duty, we had him on the show to talk about Halo, and it was the
Sweet.
funniest thing. No, it was awesome. It was awesome. I'm just like, oh my god, like we can actually like we have like our first big name on here that we're actually discussing. It was funny just because like it's not even someone involved with the Halo community. He loved Halo. He was very knowledgeable, had a lot of great things to say, but it was just that was my very first like wow moment for me, I guess.
Yeah, and it's funny he's saying all these things.
That's awesome.
I'm still with Fumo. Having more than one person listening was insane.
Now every time like I'll ask Austin like, what are the numbers looking like? And I'll just like kind of think of like high school gym basketball size as far as numbers. I'm like, that's
Connor
a lot
loves
of people
comparing-
listening.
Couple hundred. yeah.
Connor loves like comparing our listeners to like sports sized arenas for some reason. To put it in perspective, I guess.
And not like
Well-
a crazy sports size, it was like high school, like middle school gym.
I don't know if you ever looked at
some of our
the
stuff
numbers,
gets bigger.
Fumo, but when I took over the podcast, the shows were getting regularly over 100,000 downloads per episode.
Wow.
Yeah. And then when Halo Reach came around, it kind of dipped off a little bit. That started averaging around 75,000. Halo 4, we had another drop off, so it was more like 30,000. So either
So you-
chalked it up to different host, or maybe I didn't do too well nurturing the podcast that I should have,
Oh,
or just
come
Halo's
on.
popularity.
You hear that? Dust took over. It was all downhill from there.
Hey, I'm just saying 100,000 is like 10,000 short of the Ohio State football stadium.
Well, you also got to keep in mind, I guess, the increasingly
This is sad.
short attention spans. Like there are still long form podcasts out there that exist, but I don't think they have the same uptake amongst the general community of listeners out there that they once did.
Which also, it's important to note that the Halo community has changed significantly over the last 15 years. So as the community changes, its desires change as well. So it's really no surprise.
Yeah.
And the gaming space is a lot more saturated now too.
Yeah.
With a whole like Halo was like the name of the game back then, and now you have how many games every year that's like are on people's top playlists. So maybe went from like okay, you have all the Nintendo games, but back then with Xbox and PlayStation, you had those like top 10 games per platform, and now it's like okay, everyone is hopping on 50 different games a year or something like that.
Yeah, I can't keep up with it anymore. Yeah, there's still Halo podcasts to this day still dropping. I mean, there was a brand new one that just dropped that I took note of. That it's so far gotten 2 followers. I'm one of them. But it's fun seeing that there's still this desire out there for new Halo podcast creativity. I love it. But Connor, you said you had a question.
Good for them.
Yeah, it's nothing too like big and like a big theme or anything. But what caught my attention, you're talking about the clan system that you guys had. Like what's interesting to me about it is like the fact that social media and all that like wasn't a thing. Like how like from the top down, how is that set up? Like how is things communicated and set up? It's just like that was a while ago, and like things like Discord weren't around. It's just and there's no like group messaging on Xbox, but
Oh, well, the original was always just the bulletin board forums, like PHP bulletin and stuff like that. And that was one of the things that really drove a lot of communities back on the old net, because you could get like an old office computer that your work was going to throw away, throw it on there, and it would run a reasonably sized community. Or just pull together a bit of pocket change from folks and pay somebody to host it somewhere, and there's your community space.
all right, yeah.
Yeah, before the Xbox messaging, it was all the forum boards.
Yeah, I mean, and people would post. I had posting privileges. I'm sure other people did to post on the homepage. So we would update stuff about the clan. Hey, tryouts are these 4 days. If you want to try out, these are your days. You got the shot. These are the requirements. Like we said, level whatever in Slayer or whatever the playlist was back then. Because like getting 20 was hard. Like now, if you're not a 50, you're basically a failure. But back then, like if you were over 20, you were good, like legitimately good.
Much higher concentration of sweaty pros out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. MCC brought a little bit of that ranking back from the Halo 2 era. So it's
Yeah.
not, it's, I don't know if it's a little bit easier to get a higher rank, but I'm still not above 20 on MCC.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah. I'm an average, maybe a slightly above average player when it comes to Halo.
just give Dustin the sniper. He'll take care of it.
No. I
I'm
mean,
mostly,
there are days when I pop off, but those
Yeah,
are like
exactly. I've
very.
seen
That's
it.
like maybe
I've been
once a
there.
month. That's maybe once a month.
I'm mainly custom games and campaign. Anything outside of that is I lose. Especially like when it comes to Halos, as far as Austin and Shane goes, like they're some of the best players that I know that play the game.
Oh, stop it.
No,
like-
keep going.
Hey, every time
No,
I,
no,
every time
please
I squad
continue.
up-
Please
every time I-
continue.
Every time I squad up with you guys, I'm sitting there feeling like an anchor holding you guys back with my 3 kills and 16 deaths, and then we go into custom games. I don't think I ever got. It'd be very rare. I'd get above last with you guys.
So
It was
that's
just
me.
us.
That's me when I play with GLewis, Bobby, Confow, Keys. Like they try to make me look good. They try their darndest, and it does. Sometimes it works out. Sometimes it doesn't.
The only time I feel like I do good against them is it was in Halo 5. They had like the mounted Gauss cannon, and I think it's
He would just find the most belligerently broken weapon on the battlefield, and he would use it. You know Halo
Every
5's weapon
time.
sandbox.
Yep.
every time.
Such
That was
a
my
fun
weapon.
sandbox. Yeah.
Oh, I love the answer in number 5, Halo
Ah.
5. That was I love
The
that
answer.
gun.
The
Oh,
answer is
God.
Answer's great.
Yeah.
Speaking of difficulty, you know what this all just reminded me of? I remember the controversy when it was Fumo got caught playing on easy in the campaign. And who was it? It was one of the other gaming podcasts. They wrote a blog article. Controversy strikes the Podtacular community. He got caught playing on easy mode.
I think it was gamertag, right?
Yeah,
Probably,
something like that.
Man,
They're
I want
still
your
going.
guys' problems.
Yeah, Godfrey's still kicking
Godfrey
butt.
is
You
still.
still keep doing it, man.
Yeah.
He's probably the one that's lasted from that era of gaming podcasts the longest.
Yeah. I mean, he's doing great. Him in Paris, and
Yeah.
they're doing great.
Yeah, Paris is doing his own thing. But yeah. So moving into more modern Halo stuff, we just had Halo World Championships. We had the announcement for Halo Campaign Evolved, so bringing everything full circle, quite literally again. Initial thoughts and opinions on the franchise getting kind of this remake reboot type of treatment.
That dead horse has a lot of dents in it.
I didn't want it, but I'll take it.
Yeah.
It looks pretty.
Those look pretty.
I'm more interested in the level, like the added campaign missions to the game. That's what I'm more interested. I want to see like what they're gonna expand upon. And I've heard the community throw out so many great ideas about what those missions might be. And then there's the recent rumors of them giving Halo 2 and Halo 3 also another remake. And I mean, for me, a Halo 3 remake is like on my gaming bucket list. Like that is probably my favorite video game, like of all time, like bar none. So like getting a fresh coat of paint that it's deserved for quite some time. In my brain, this kind of justifies them not giving it an anniversary that it was owed a little while ago. Granted, like the game holds up well. It looks great for the year it was made and how long it's been, how long it's been with us. But I'm all for the original games getting, a fresh coat of paint, as long as like they don't tamper with it too much. That's going to open up a whole nother can of worms about what they have tampered with.
Oh yeah, they're making it look very pretty. Although I was watching the videos, like some of the demo videos, just out of curiosity, and I'm wondering who had the idea of putting an ammo counter on the needler, because you can see how much ammo you have with the needle sticking out the top of the gun.
Well, you can
It depends.
to be fair.
Yeah, but I thought you were kind of going the route of the assault rifle getting a bit of a nerf in terms of ammo count. That one is
You guys do know
that's
that's
making
probably
some
because
people
the
mad.
SMG is in the game, right?
100%. It's got to be. The SMG is going to be there to some extent, so they were like, we got to make sure the
I'm
SMG has.
guaranteeing it. There's no way they would lower the assault rifle ammunition unless there was a weapon that equates to an SMG like the assault rifle in the original game.
I
The
remember.
thing is, the SMGs actually did very much change the game, kind of in a negative way, because everybody started out with it in Halo 2. And the thing was that you could dual wield it immediately. You pick up a second one, and then most of your first engagements just turn into a hose fight of who can spray the other person the longest. And it just turned into hose the other person with bullets fast before they can hose you down. But the negative consequence of that is it completely washed out a lot of the variety in the gameplay. People stopped using a lot of the other weapons as much. People stopped using grenades as much because it just turned into a big hose fight. So that's why they switched stuff out going into Halo 3, from what I recall. So if they're bringing the SMG into original Halo, I can see why they'd have to rebalance that a bit, because balancing weapons with different mechanics like that is a tricky thing to do.
I think I would go back to the bullet hose in a second to get out of the precision hell that we're currently in.
I hear that.
At least put the dual wielding in campaign. At least always have it in campaign.
Yeah.
For sure.
Did they get fall damage as well? I don't know. Dying from jumping too high was something that you actually used to have to watch out for.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
still
it was a fun little hazard. But Fumo, I'm actually curious because I think whenever we were talking at HCS, you mentioned that you're not quite a gamer anymore. So is Halo still like active as a thing that you do play? And if it's not, is Campaign Evolved pulling you back?
Good question. I'm interested in Campaign Evolved because I still think the first campaign is the best campaign. But I appreciate that they're bringing some quality of life features in now and kind of modernizing a lot of the controls and features that it has. So it's just basic run stuff, like different control schemes, things like this. And of course, the much better visuals and remastered audio, re-recorded audio, really cool. But that part interests me. The whole Halo Anniversary Edition, not so much. Like just the exact same thing with a fresh coat of paint. Like, because like at first at the time it was I know like the visuals like left a lot to be desired for sure. But even so, like even if you thought they were better, like if you switch to the original Halo visuals, honestly, I thought that was better in not just for nostalgia's sake, but just because like it was part of the game is having like there are certain aspects of the map that pop out and that are focal points. While if you have like all this shit going on all over the place and everything's just all like detailed up, it got to where it kind of lost a lot of that. So like looking at the footage of the new one, it looks really good, and it looks like they kind of if you were to go back and play Halo now, the original, and like especially with the control scheme, the lack of running, I feel like and the indestructible vehicles and several other things, there are things that you would just kind of expect and that you wouldn't see, and you'd be like, man, this game is really showing its age. So I appreciate that they're kind of giving a chance to people that, especially with the PlayStation release and releasing on all platforms for that matter, just give people a chance to play the original campaign in a way that's not like holding them back and saying, man, this game feels old.
I'd say they still need to release it on Mac with how Mac is trying to get somewhat gaming relevant now. Like bring it to the platform it was originally supposed to be released on. If they could bring it to Mac, I think they would have a pretty interesting addition to players.
Yeah, that with Proton compatibility. I mean, Fuma, you make a good point about visual clarity, especially because after Halo, there was a lot of games that went through an awful, like, very dark, muddy visual period, kind of around Gears of War and stuff like that. And there's also this very bad trend of putting overly bright bloom into games with like bright lights over the sun where it would just wash everything out and everything just look kind of muddy and samey. And it was one thing I noticed in the preview videos is that they've managed to keep a lot of the good visual definition, so stuff stands out without being horribly busy.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's what
Keeping
looks
the
really good.
spirit of the game is going to be interesting with the modern visuals, because one of the things that I've seen a lot of people critique the anniversary was losing a lot of the mood and feel because of the change in the environment. So if they can keep true to that with the remake and really hone in on what made the original game so impactful, then at least they're trending in the right direction. I've seen a lot of people complain that they're using the modern Forerunner stuff and they're using the infinite models for the enemies, so the jackals, elites, grunts, which I don't personally have a big problem with. Like the improvements that we have to game mechanics and the engines and whatnot that we have, I'm not opposed to kind of using some of the more modern, maybe more clean assets, but you still need to catch the atmosphere of what Halo was, like all that horror of the flood and the threat of the flood, and still tried to convey that, hey, what we're doing on this ring has a big importance because of the dangers that it actually poses. So
That's one thing that I think really helped Halo pop up. Doesn't matter how pretty you are, gameplay obviously matters quite a bit, and that's something that it did quite well. But what I think sucked a lot of people in was the universe and the story around it. They did a good job with the intro. You're on a ship, bad stuff's happening, we got to get out of here. Mystery ring. And they did a good job with the world building going forward in a way that was accessible and quick enough to pick up, that it got people at least hooked with the basic story that was going on. As there wasn't a whole ton of monologuing exposition. You got the basics that you needed to know, and it gave you a solid enough core to go on from there. And then expanded on that stuff further down the line. And with the other content as well, because they publish books and other stuff.
yeah,
I
Cool.
would say like I'm moderately excited just because I wouldn't call myself a purist, but because I understand that there's some aspect of creating a new is to bring in the current, gaming audience. There's the whole argument about sprint and, how hard to make the game, how much is the game tailored to you can do what you want based on what they intended you to do. Like for an example, people harp on you can bring the warthog anywhere in the demo, but
Yeah.
before you couldn't because there was a rock there. I mean, so maybe it'd be better. Who knows? I mean, I know some people are harping like, oh, they should you should make it so where you can't bring the warthog in different places. But I mean, you haven't played it yet. How do you know? Like that might be your favorite part about it when you start playing it. I don't know.
I mean, on the demo level there, Silent Cartographer, I remember cheesing that by jamming the Warthog in the door, and as soon as it opened, just let the main Gatling gun on the Warthog shred up what's supposed to be, I guess, a mini boss or something with a sword that's supposed to pop out there.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I'm just saying, like I've heard so much complaining about sprint or like you said the 32 to the 64 rounds. It's just
The 60 round AR. Yeah.
it's kind of like when Mark Hamill said, this isn't my thing anymore.
See, and that's what I love is that I didn't care about the rest of the argument. I didn't care about the conversation online. As soon as I saw that Jamie Greisemer and Marcus Leto had two different opinions, oh, it was like butter. It was fantastic.
Yeah. Well, two OG Halo devs who had different opinions of the game. It's like, okay, yeah, that's kind of how.
Yeah,
it's great.
That's what made the game good because that's what they were probably doing every single day. They were probably arguing about the littlest thing that we don't even consider that be any of consequence, but they were probably doing that every day for years, arguing about the littlest, the blast radius, blah blah blah, or this, that, the other thing.
Yep.
So I hope they still have that going on there because when you talk to Bungie, they always say that they just wanted to build cool stuff and they were doing it for each other, which that kind of feels like Podtacular. We were building cool stuff for each other. We didn't care, like outside of our community who was seeing it. We just wanted to like, as long as Mike thought it was cool, we all thought it was cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that does speak to a change that's happened throughout the game industry with how heavily corporatized it's being. And you can see how a lot of people are saying these longstanding franchises have completely lost the plot.
Yeah.
And that's what you're seeing, like in the indie space. The people who actually have the passion and a lot of heart going into their games are the smaller studios that don't have this. We've got to get another quarter of growth in order to keep the shareholders happy. Whereas if you're actually able to put the passion in and make something solid while not necessarily min-maxing for maximum profits with a focus group, you can turn out something that's truly unique and will really get people engaged that can lead to a lot of success.
And don't forget legitimately locking Microsoft out of the building.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's the hard part where a lot of the AAA studios are only in it for the business side of things and they lose the spirit of making games just to make fun games that you want to play. And those kind of games are still popping off. I mean, Baldur's Gate 3, I think, is the most recent example of that, where they didn't make the game specifically just to make I mean, you're in a business, you still got to make money, but make a game that you know that you're going to want to play and enjoy playing, and that's where you start.
Yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 is a shining example of what happens when you really put the effort in.
You know what I think is an even stronger one? An even stronger example, most recently, Hollow Knight, the most recent one. Because as soon as that dropped, I mean, that was being developed by two guys who said that it was taking forever, being delayed over and over again, not because it was hard, but because they were having fun. And it drops and it makes millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can see also where a lot of the big studios are getting caught chasing flashy features. We need the best graphics and. Whereas I can point to a number of games like, very simple graphics for Hollow Knight, or even something that's older but still has a very solid community that I still regularly play, Deep Rock Galactic. That doesn't have anything even approaching realistic visuals.
That's true.
Right? So you don't have to chase that in order to be successful. As long as you have something that looks visually cohesive and is solid the rest of the way around, it can be very successful.
Definitely. I wish more of the bigger publishers would kind of maybe let the reins loose a little bit and let the studios just cook instead of having their corporate board members in there dictating every little aspect of, well, this is what makes money. It's like, sure, technically, but it's not the funnest game for people to play. Like, yeah, people are going to go and buy it and play it, but you're not going to retain players because it's not fun to play.
I mean, the sad thing is that even being successful doesn't guarantee retention. I mean, Microsoft got some infamous headlines for, there was a game, came out of a studio that they had bought up, it exploded, became super popular, and then they fired everybody who was responsible for it like a year or so ago.
See, I would much rather make history than make money.
Yep.
I'm getting that tattooed on my forehead.
Yeah. But it is, I guess, a feature of, as a lot of the big game studios have become more corporatized, the whole environment is just enshittifying, where even if you do a good job, you're not necessarily guaranteed expense if the CEO decides I need to get the gold plating in the yacht's crack done, right?
Yep. It's unfortunate. Bobby said, Mr. Krabs, hello, I like money.
Yep. There you go.
Yep.
Yeah, very true, very true. Hey, speaking of doing things for good and not for money, just a random additional update. I follow Joseph Staten on LinkedIn. It's just one of those things I enjoy seeing from him. He's out of the gaming industry entirely right now. He started his career, fun fact, teaching English. I think it was in China. And I could be wrong about that, but he was teaching it somewhere else. And he is now working at Duolingo. I just think that's cool.
Full circle.
Oh,
First circle.
didn't know that.
Yep.
Yeah, he's trying to help people learn languages. I'm like, that's a fun circle.
We're gonna have an Ungoi language soon.
Oh,
Yes.
please.
Yes.
I'm still sitting here waiting for somebody to translate whatever gibberish Marty was saying in Halo Reach as the Sangheili.
Mm. Is that one of his kind of ongoing community quest type things? Because I know there were several between like some of the stuff in ODST and then like the original way you're supposed to solve the would have been your daddy's skull and Halo
Yeah.
3.
Did
I
they
think the
actually
biggest
have like a made up language for them, or were they just babbling
there was
noises?
he has insinuated that there is a language, but I think the biggest one right now in his big wide web of mysteries from the original games is the true meaning of the mausoleum suite in Halo 2, the hidden message in the backwards, which I'm going to say right now, Mr. 00 and Luke, I called it immediately that it wasn't mendicant bias. There was no way that it could be. But y'all were deluded, and now you're upset that it's not mendicant bias when your boy's been preaching for years. I don't even want to hear it.
There you have it. Well, I want to take the last 15 minutes or so of this episode to kind of talk about where the podcast is going. I've been doing this for 17 years,
Oof.
which I don't know how I've survived this long. Everyone asks me, how the heck are you doing all this stuff between having two jobs, doing the podcast? I have my own D&D campaign, which I haven't run since the birth of my second, so I haven't done that in like 6 months. Um, Managing a household and all that stuff, and it's like I have no idea. I chalked up to God's provision or something. I don't know. But now that I have two kids and a family, things are certainly starting to get tight as far as scheduling. People could definitely tell that over the past year or so, there has not been as many frequent episodes. And if you would have tracked the timeline, but to getting to year 20, there should be about 1,000 episodes. So we definitely slowed down a bit there towards the end. But the reason we had JumperScape on a few episodes ago, I think 3 episodes ago at this point, was I approached Austin earlier in the summer of this year about handing Podtacular off to some people who I feel like could nurture and take Podtacular to the place where I've always envisioned it to go since some of the more recent changes with the Halo community. I've had lots of ideas jumbling around in my head that I just have not been able to execute on, and chalk that up to the change in the gaming community, chalk that up to Halo's declining popularity or whatnot. But um, we were very impressed with JumperScape, with their Tarkov audio drama, especially during the time when we had Hunt the Truth and all that stuff coming out. They came out with a very convincing production. Again, if you haven't listened to it, definitely go check that out. And just as I've gotten to talk with Austin over the last few years through meeting him at Halo Worlds and talking with him through different forums, just coming to realize that we're both kind of cut from the same cloth of just wanting to do what's best for the Halo community. And he's of a more recent generation of Halo, and I've been kind of fostering this for the last 17 years. Thanks to Fumo for graciously letting me take it over in October of 2008 when I was a young freshman in college. Um, and actually, no, I was a sophomore at that point. But it's time for me to bring in some help. So Podtacular is merging with JumperScape. I will not be the regular voice behind the podcast anymore. I will still have some creative input into the process. I will still be helping out with getting interviews lined up, getting ideas generated for show topic ideas, taking some of the community discussion and framing that within the format of the show. But um, it is time for me to pass the torch on to folks who have the same level of passion as I do, but more of the means to actually do it. I kind of see this as I'm moving up the leadership chain a little bit. So instead of being kind of at the worker bee doing a podcast every week level, maybe kind of moving up on the leadership kind of chain type of thing, which is kind of ironic because I just heard today that I got my promotion that I was looking for at work. So kind of getting promoted in two aspects there in life. But Austin has graciously accepted taking Podtacular under the fold of the JumperScape umbrella as another one of their productions, which you have, I think when we talked, when you had you on, you had 5, 6 productions, something like that.
I believe right now it's 6 or 7. Yeah.
Yeah. So Podtacular is going to have a new look and feel coming here very, very soon. This is kind of our capstone of what I'm calling kind of the third generation of Podtacular community hosting type of thing within the podcast. But I'm excited for what the future holds with Podtacular under Austin's tender and care, and he has been gracious enough to let me stay on board to provide creative direction and provide some more influence into how JumperScape can interact with the Halo community and really just use my brain more effectively instead of me having to focus on doing podcasts all the time. Actually take some of those ideas that I've had and actually make them a reality. So I see this as a win-win. It's an opportunity for me to work with the group to actually achieve some of the vision that I've always wanted for Podtacular, but never had the time to. And especially now that I have a family, I have even less time to do it.
And people underestimate just how much of a time suck doing a podcast is. That was something I was not initially prepared for when I started doing Around the Ring. But we've been in this call for about 2 hours. Then you have to go and listen to that entire recording over again just to like chop it up, fix audio glitches, and do other stuff. So producing an episode that's an hour long, you know, if you had like an hour and a half recording, you're into that for like 3 and a bit hours of work at least.
Yeah, every week was at least 6 to 10 hours, depending on how long the podcast was. Jeez. And granted, I kind of did part of that to myself because I still use some of the practices that Fumo was doing as far as going and trimming some of the excess fluff in there. A lot of the awkward pauses, a lot of the stutters, the so's, that kind of stuff. Adding
it really, that's kind of essential in order to keep it from dragging on way too long, right? And because that was, I guess, another thing, because Fumo, one of the things that you guys did was you nailed it a good length. The show was long enough to have good content, but not so long that I need to tune out now.
Right. Yep. That's kind of the story of where Podtacular is going from here. Podtacular is still focusing on the community. It's by the community for community, kind of how we talked about earlier. I feel like that prompting from Austin was kind of a setup to where we are right now. So congratulations, sir. Well played.
Thank you.
And yeah, I think the vibe and feel of Podtacular, while it's going to be under different tenure, under different hosting, it's still going to be, I'm confident it's still going to be a very similar feel that you're used to. Very similar objective of what we've had on the podcast, of what I've had on podcasts, but they're going to actually be able to deliver more on it because they have more people under their umbrella, where it's just been me and GT for the past 3 or so years, and we've had the smattering of people come in and out with doing podcast hosting, but we never really got the traction of people stepping up to do other ancillary parts of the Podtacular community. And I think that's just mostly been because the community is a lot more saturated now. Halo kind of has this really steep adoption when a new game releases, and then the very quick decline after 2 or 3 months or so. So part of that's just kind of the gaming space that we're in, but I think this is a good overall direction that we're going. And now I will hand the floor over to Austin to address the JumperScape side of the merger.
Yeah. Hey, I'm Austin. It's nice to meet you. You're gonna get to know me a whole lot more as we go forward. It's very, I'll say, it's very strange as an experience because 2023 was when I was on the show the first time to talk about Tarkov, a Halo story, and to be like, oh yeah, we have our own podcast we're trying to put together. It's kind of cool. I don't know. And then of course, 2 years later, almost 3 years now, the show has, gotten to the point now where we can actually have this conversation realistically and consider something as big, in my opinion, as being a host for Podtacular, which I will say there's probably some out there that are like, well, it can't be that daunting, right? I mean, it's just hosting a podcast. You guys have no idea. Like, this is a tenure thing. This is like, you cannot screw this up sort of vibe. It's one of those sort of situations where you're not worrying about your own content. You're worrying about legacy. and there is a legacy to something like this. So to sort of get you ready, to get you geared up, right? First of all, we're still working out exactly who the hosts are going to be, but we're kind of thinking that the potentiality of it being that it's a sort of like drop in, drop out sort of situation with a central host, likely me, where folks from JumperScape can hop in as a little host from time to time, or as frequently as they want, because who knows, maybe Connor's just going to be there on every episode. You never really know when something like that could happen. And the objective, of course, is going to be about making this about the community. I loved the concept of people being able to just hop into an episode and just talk whatever they wanted to talk about from the Halo community, just bring it up, make it open forum. And I want to bring something like that back. And with the community that we have in our Discord, I think that our objective has been quite literally to bring back the old internet feel. And we've had a remarkable success. Many people have reached out to me personally to say that it doesn't quite make sense how we have a Discord of over 1,000 members and no one is arguing, no one is upset at each other, there's no drama, there's nothing ever really happening, and we barely have any bans. We only had to ban one person so far in the last 2 years, and I think they were just genuinely insane. So it's just,
I mean, you get enough people to come in, eventually you wind up hitting the crazies.
Exactly. And so it's a fantastic experience. And this is when we have to address, of course, the core audience that we have at the Library Halo Lorecast, the show that pretty much, if you know JumperScape, you likely came from that show based on the numbers and based on how many people talk about it. And it should be noted that I mentioned recently in one of our episodes, sometime in this season, I was like, we don't know what the next season is going to look like yet. And I never say that because I have seasons planned like 4 seasons in advance usually. So that should have been like the first time, like the first sign that something was up was when I said, I don't actually know what the next season's going to be, because that was essentially a complete restructuring is happening. The Library Halo Lorecast always had 2 separate parts: on seasons and off seasons. The on seasons were the even numbers, and it was just lore. But then you have the other seasons that are in between, that are the community-based seasons. That's the guests rushes. That's a new guest every week. That's talking with authors. That's working alongside some pretty fun folks to promote work and talk about content. And it's fun. But you guys have no idea how many times we get complaints on comments saying this is a lore show. What are you doing? Talk about the community so much. So I have to do something about it. So.
And now it just so happens that you're getting another podcast that's a lot more community focused. So
exactly.
Sounds like a problem to solve there.
Exactly. So it was like 3 or 4 birds with one stone. There was a ricochet going on there, but that's the situation here. The Library Halo Lorecast is going to be sticking to lore going forward. Every season will still have its own theme, and it'll still be designed around things, and there'll still be guests, like authors will likely still hop on, but they're going to be more targeted. They're going to be more focused upon the actual franchise, the actual people working on the franchise. They'll be much more targeted while we talk about lore. And the goofiness is not going anywhere. I'm sorry. There's nothing we can do about that. We have way too much fun. It's never going to be an Installation 00 video for those who are concerned about the fact that we are goofballs on a lore podcast. But
well, and all the Podtacular people will be very familiar with how goofy we can get.
Exactly.
If there's no goof, is it even worth it?
It's not even a podcast, really, by that point. So that's the way this is going to go. Podtacular, under JumperScape's umbrella, is going to be the new, basically, concept for what we have for our community content. Regular guests, regular conversations about things happening inside the actual franchise, outside the franchise, and the community. Latest concepts, latest projects, latest animations. This person's trying to get into voice acting, hire them, that sort of thing. And it simply has been a pleasure knowing that there have been the responses that I've gotten from our internal team, who already knew that something was up and already knew that something was coming. And it was simply a resounding "this is awesome" sort of response, that this was something super special, especially since whenever we were kicking off, I remember very well 2023, I was like, guys, the #1 goal, we have to be Podtacular. Like,
and now you are becoming Podtacular.
And we are becoming Podtacular. So we didn't beat. If you can't beat them,
Might as well join them.
Join them. But it is absolutely incredible to be able to say that that coming up here, Podtacular is going to be a JumperScape thing. And that being said, of course, there's going to be some things that we're going to have to work out on, like what it all looks like. So I would, and what it feels like, what it sounds like, all this stuff. The transitional period from not existing to existing that Fumo had to go through is going to be very similar. So just bear with us as we start getting into our paces. We're going to have a first episode announced fairly soon to get the ball rolling. And right now, I can at least say the target is Tuesday releases. So Tuesday, Podtacular, Thursday, the Library Hill Lorecast. So if that's interesting to you and you want to see where Podtacular is going to end up, hopefully for the very long foreseeable future, then definitely stay tuned. And I very much appreciate all of my predecessors here who have given us this blessing. It is an absolute honor.
Well, I know for me, it's going to be a very good transition. I'm very confident. I know we've had several discussions over the last 4 or 5 months as I came to you and asked, "Hey, is this something that you're interested in?" You said kind of resounding yes.
Yep.
And I'm still floored that you're still willing to keep me on to help with creative direction and give me permission to hop on every once in a while, maybe lead a podcast every once in a while. I hope I'm not letting anyone down. I think most everyone has been very receptive to the fact that I've been doing this for 17 years and that I have a family now. So there's kind of other priorities in the mix. But I will tell you, just with the conversations I've had with Austin, I feel like the passion that he has for Halo and the community matches my passion and Fumo's original vision for the show. So I hope that you embrace this new direction that we're taking with Podtacular. Please give JumperScape all the support that they need to get the ball rolling. Share this on social media. Be involved. Get active. There's going to be some changes to how some of the current Podtacular stuff is going to take to migrate. So we're going to put the Discord into a free state, and then we're going to get moved over to the JumperScape Discord. We'll still have the socials for doing posting of like specific podcast episodes, but we are making the move as we merge with JumperScape into the JumperScape side of the things. So I'm very confident that this is the right direction to go. I'm very thankful to Austin for his passion and dedication. And for those who didn't know, they put on a fantastic community corner at the Halo World Championship, and there was a whole bunch of positive feedback on how that went. So I think just if you look at everything that Austin is doing with JumperScape, I hope everyone else feels the same way, that this is a good direction for Podtacular to go and to realize some of the vision that I've had over the past 5-10 years that I just haven't been able to do because of now having other responsibilities as a dad. So I've talked with Fumo about it over Halo Worlds. I don't think there was any kind of bad blood there. Everyone that I've talked to within our VIPs on Discord seemed to have a good understanding about it too. So definitely appreciate all the support that everyone has given us over the past 20 years that Podtacular's been around. Everyone seems to know the name, even though not everyone listens to it. So the brand recognition is definitely there, even though the gaming scene is a lot more saturated now, and it's hard to keep everyone's attention. But I have faith in what Austin and his team is able to do, especially after just what I've seen them doing over the last few months. So
It's been a jump, I'll tell you that much.
it really has.
Mm-hmm.
You could almost say it's a JumperScape.
I knew
Funny
that joke
guy.
was there. I was refraining from saying that.
So yeah, it's so helpful having a 3-syllable name that ends with a pretty solid thing. I don't know what it is. Like right now, the server is we name our server based on holidays, and right now it's Turkeyscape. Last month it was Spookyscape. Next month it's probably gonna be like Merryscape or something like that.
Snowy escape.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, it is phenomenal. I've got very little else to touch on with it because as we go along, as we go forward, more updates will come out about how this is going to go, where you can listen. It's going to be damn near everywhere. And
Ooh, Confal's a
What's
good recommendation. Yulescape.
Yulescape.
That's a good one.
That is a good one. I like that because it's like Yuletide.
Yes.
Yulescape Carol. I could
Yeah.
I could get I could get Yafet to make like a Merry Christmas but Halo.
Yeah. That's a good one. That's a good one. Penn says as long as it isn't Mariahscape.
Mariahscape. Carriescape.
Oh geez. Well, I don't know if this catchphrase is going to stick around, but until next time, keep on fragging trucks. Thank you for listening to Podtacular, the unofficial Halo Universe podcast. You can find our podcast on your favorite podcasting service and listen to us live every Thursday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Twitch. Check out our website, podtacular.com, and join the community on Discord at podtacular.com/discord. If you want to play Halo with us, come join us for Fraggin' Fridays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Become a supporter of the show by sharing the show with your friends and family. Or help keep the lights on by subscribing to us on Twitch, donating via PayPal, or becoming a patron alongside Confal, Penn's Halo, and Prestige Ace. Until next time, keep on fragging trucks.